I'm Lisa.
I'm Charlie.
Welcome to our Georgia suburban homestead.
So here we are, the weekend after Christmas 2021, and we are setting up raspberry beds around the corner of our sunroom. If you look real close, these are what I like to call temporary raised beds. We used these landscaping brick, which have the grooves cut in them, that allow you to put a 2x4 or a sheet of wood or a stretch of wood into that groove, place a brick at each corner, and you've got squared corners. So we are setting up 3 beds today that go toward our entrance gate. And unfortunately, we ran out of homegrown compost. There's only 2 of us in our family, and we've got almost every available inch of property dedicated to vegetables, fruits, medicinal herbs, because I do make my own medicinal medicines, and pollinators. All these raspberries that you see in this cart here began 3 years ago as 2 plants that we purchased from Tractor Supply. We planted them in a very small raised bed that you see here behind the buckets that has 2 Nanking Cherries and a Satsuma orange in it. They totally took over, and they crawled into our raised bed complex. And I'll talk more in other videos about what we have going on here. But today's project was to dig all these out and give them a new home. So as you see, we've got the temporary beds made, or just about made, and we're going to be using a blend of topsoil, compost, and what I like to use is Pro Mix with mycorrhizae in it. And we'll be placing the raspberry plants from this cart into their new home and watering it in. In a day or 2, we'll be putting up trellises so that they don't jump out of the bed and grab us as we walk by. And here comes Charlie, being greeted by Bamsy the Wonder Dog, bringing in fence pickets, which we've discovered is a very inexpensive way to create the walls on the raised bed that actually work better than 2x6s. The bricks are about 6 3/4 inches long or deep, and we like to stack 2 to give us plenty of planting depth. Now that's not to say you have to fill it all the way up with soil. You can build your soil as the years go by. But as Charlie will show you, he's putting another brick down. And this, see how complicated this is. Now most raised beds you want to make at least 3 feet wide and no more than 4. And what makes this easy and inexpensive is being able to cut the wood to the size that you need. So Charlie will show you how easily these fence pickets go into place. Okay, voila. Now the soil that we fill this with will hold the pickets in place, so you don't have to worry about stability. And then what we do to keep the blocks lined up is to drive the rebar that he will show you in just a second.
I have to go get some.
That's okay. Show how it goes in the hole. That goes in the hole, and then he'll take a rubber mallet and drive that down into the soil so that's level. Now, if this were a bed that would have something that's frost sensitive, we would put a PVC pipe on either one of these rebars and bend it over and cover it with plastic. That's the topic of another video. So as you see, this will anchor these blocks in place. And keep the bed square. Get that done, Daddy? Time for the soil?
Yep.
Charles is from rural Alabama, where they don't talk much out there on the farm, but yep, yeah, yep, and nope. Here he comes with the soil. I found this big old hand cart at Tractor Supply, and that was his Christmas present last year. And I think he has said more than once that that's one of the best gifts I've ever given him. You can get a lot done with that. So at this point, he's just going halfway up on these beds with the soil. And it's fairly simple. Take out your trusty pocket knife that no country boy is without. Slice the bag and dump it. Is that right, Daddy?
Yep, gonna take a few. Trip over your dog.
Oh yeah, you must trip over the dog. That's a requirement. Looks like Bamsy approves of what you're doing. How long do you think it'll take him before he gets in there and digs?
I've been teaching him not to, but that doesn't mean anything.
This is true.
Here we are, New Year's Eve, and what do Lisa and Charlie do? We go to the garden. We're going to set our posts now and string up the raspberries that you see haven't even wilted, and we still have a few still setting fruit. They didn't seem to notice being dug up and put in place. So I'm just going to let the camera roll while we do our work, and hope you enjoy our methods, which are totally unorthodox, which is just about everything we do. We don't do the way other people do. This seems to work for us. So never be afraid of trying a new method or going with a whim in the garden. I mean, if you fail, you learn. If you're successful, hopefully you remember what you did next year. All right, enjoy.
Here.
Yeah, talk about your tool. Time is precious, and I appreciate you spending some time with us today as we strung up the raspberries and impromptu harvested some designer bay. Be blessed. I hope you got something out of the video, and of course if you like what you're seeing, then you know what to do with that little red box below the video. Join us. Good night and Happy New Year.